very well assume that this is going to appear in the Battles of Legend Relentless Revenge, and it is actually quite an interesting card. I'm not sure if you guys recognize this card, because I certainly do. It's from the anime. It's from that episode in GX where the guy basically summons Satan and he sells his soul to him and then basically uses it to win every single game ever. So this card is called Slash Draw. This is one of the iconic cards that is used in that episode specifically, and it is a normal spell card with only one effect, and you can only activate it once per turn. Discard one card, send to the graveyard cards from the top of your deck equal to the number of cards your opponent controls, then draw one card. And if you do, show it, and then send it to the graveyard if it's a Slash Draw. And if you do that, destroy all cards on the field, then inflict 2,000 points of damage to your opponent for each card destroyed and sent to the graveyard by this effect. If it is not Slash Draw, shuffle into the deck cards from your graveyard equal to the number of cards sent to the deck to the graveyard by this effect. So this card has a lot of unique potential. This card, on the surface, is a lot of OTK potential, but it's a lot of risky things here. So the first thing that I'm going to point out is that if you do this effect and it's not Slash Draw, the card that you drew and then discarded, for the cost of this card, you will not get back, simply because it specifically states shuffle into the deck cards from the graveyard equal to the number of cards sent to the deck to the graveyard by this effect. Since the card that you drew is not being sent from the deck to the graveyard, you will not get that card back, and as well as the card that you discarded to activate the cost for said effect. So that's that. In and of itself, you're technically risking two cards potentially for potential lethal, but I mean, I guess in some ways, if it works out, then it's not terrible. The other downside is that the fact that you have to send cards to your graveyard equal to the cards that are in your opponent's hand or your opponent controls, and then even if you get to draw one card, you still have to send to the graveyard, and it has to be Slash Draw specifically. And what are you getting out of that? You're getting a board wipe and then a card and then an OTK. It really doesn't have to be that way. It could have just said inflict 2,000 points of damage for each card that your opponent has in their hand and out on the field. It would have done the exact same thing. Though this card is a lot of risk simply because of that. You have to rely on getting a card in your hand, one card that you're playing three of. Granted, it's going to be a lot easier to do since you're milling cards, but it's also going to be very easy for you to mill another Slash Draw. That being said, you can easily just return all the Slash Draws that you get if you happen to mill both of them. But I honestly think that this is just going to be like one of those trolley kind of cards, like Final Countdown and Self-Destruct Button. You're going to see these being played in very small, degenerate FTK-like decks. Additionally, if this does work out for you, if you're playing Brandish Maidens, you're getting a lot of value, mainly because you get a lot of cards that are probably going to be spell cards into the graveyard, and that's absolutely insane. So you can kick off some really important effects. Ideally, this card in and of itself is 3 cards already, because if you discard one card, that's 1 spell card potentially, and then you draw a card, then send that one, that's 2, and then this card will go to the graveyard, and that's 3. So realistically, the card in and of itself replenishes itself in Brandish Maiden specifically. Not that you play this card in Brandish Maiden, but it is definitely noteworthy, and it's interesting to say. It's kind of cool. I like this card a lot, though, because I was a really huge fan of this card in the anime. I wish they did more with this card in the anime, but I'm glad that we're actually getting with this. It's kind of like, because GX is a really good series, even though 5Ds isn't my favorite series of all time. This is one of my favorites cards from GX that has not been released. I hope we're getting something like Quick Summon or whatever that card is called, where it's a quick play and you get an additional normal summon. That'd be kind of cool, but that card probably would be really insane. But anyway, guys, if you did enjoy, please leave a comment in the comment section down below. I will see you guys in the next video. This has been Lawrence signing out.